everybody. Welcome to our sixth Digital Live of the fall 2025 season. I'm Zach Yorman, host of the Digital Lives and field manager at the Digital Summer Clinic. I'm also joined by Lale Walker, my co host and fellow field manager at the clinic. And today we are excited to be talking to our special guest and upcoming digital marketing workshop panel moderator and speaker, Bilal Saeed.
Thank you so much for being here, Bilal. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. As Zach said, he is one of our anticipated speakers coming up for our digital marketing workshop. So we have him on today just so you guys can kind of get a pre-warm up to get to know him. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll get to it during our Q&A section. So Bilal, can you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your professional experience?
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for having me on today. I was telling you guys offline, I'm ready for the two of your podcasts to drop. So just let me know. I want to cut. I want to be your agent on that one. So I'm entering year 21 of my career. I started my first company in college while I was in my undergrad at EMU, and my interest was in sport and entertainment right away. And so I kind of found a pathway that made sense for me. I knew right away that joining a team or organization directly wasn't going to benefit me the way I needed to. And I also knew that I wanted to kind of control my own destiny a bit more. When I was at Eastern, I studied entrepreneurship, and so I knew that I wanted to kind of control my own destiny in terms of my finances, my career, and really how I define success. And sport and entertainment was just like the platform for me, and it kind of just worked out that way.
Yeah, sounds awesome. Yeah, so we're really looking forward to diving in, getting to know you, as well as getting to know you for our viewers. So we're just going to ask you a few questions just so that we all get to know you a little bit better. Our first question for you, and you touched on this a little bit, what drew you to the world of athletics marketing?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I grew up, a minority in a predominantly white community. So I stood out like a very obviously in many different ways. And some of that was challenging for me as a youth. And a lot of it was challenging, if I'm being honest. And, whether it's like I looked a little funny, a little nerdy, my lunch had some different scents coming from it. I didn't know, traditional American culture things that some of my classmates and stuff knew. So I felt right away at a young age how I stood out. But one place that I became an equal and maybe even got some cool points was on the basketball court at recess. So I was at a young age introduced to the power of sport. And I knew I would end up somehow working in sport for my career. My original plan was to be in the NBA as a player. That didn't work out so well. I kind of realized those dreams were going to die quickly. But I didn't know, exactly like how I was going to get there. I knew I wanted to be in control of my own destiny as an entrepreneur. And so when I started my own company, Pack Mode, during my last semester at Eastern in January of 2008, I had originally started as a print publication company and quickly pivoted to a sport and entertainment company. And that pivot is really what opened up a lot of different opportunities, and a lot of different cool projects that I got to work on. And those are the experiences that kind of really opened doors and allowed me to kind of have a pathway that was a little bit more accelerated than if I went and worked directly for a university athletic department or a pro team directly.
Thank you so much for that. As someone who doesn't really care to watch sports, something I do really like and appreciate about it that wanted me to pursue a career in sports was just the community that you can get from it. It's so amazing hearing people's stories and seeing them find their family and lane within it when they can't find it anywhere else. So I really like how you touched on that. So can you please tell us what drew you to the current position that you are in right now and what takeaways you took from some of your previous jobs?
Yeah, I've worked for teams, and I've done my own thing independently as an entrepreneur. And I think I prefer just doing my own thing, having a bit more flexibility in terms of lifestyle management, time. I got 2 young boys, so that's important. I think there are pros and cons to each pathway, but again, just having left the team side and started doing my own thing again, um, I'm reminded that the beauty of connecting with like-minded people. So you get to pick and I've because I'm a little bit further along in my career, I've got a great network and I've had a lot of different projects come my way over the last few months. And really, I get to say yes or no based on, do I like the project? Do I really think my creative skills will flourish? And am I working with people that I respect, that respect me, and that are like-minded in terms of those things, which I don't think is something you can always control when you're working for a corporation. And so very thankful to be back in the seat of, controlling who I surround myself with, and yeah, just doing cool creative stuff that hopefully can impact people in a positive way.
Yeah, that's awesome because I feel like one theme you've kind of touched on this entire time is just controlling your own destiny, controlling kind of what you go into and who you're around and all that type of stuff. And I think it's especially like it's a great reminder for our viewers who may be, college students that you don't have to you don't have to follow the corporate ladder if you don't want to. You can try your own things. You can truly be who you want to be, basically. And I think you're a great testimony to that
Well,
because
I appreciate that, and I would just add to it that this is the age of the side hustle, so you can do both. And you can calculate your risk even more so, right? Like people always ask me if you could go back and do one thing. I'm like, I'm not so sure I would have dove in head first the way I did. Like, I would have, because it really is what got me to where I am. But like, it was scary, and I made a lot of mistakes that were like hard. But I do think like this is also me trying to sell you guys to start doing your own thing, like because I know it's in you. I can feel it based off the few minutes of conversation that we had, and I love to see people just take that step and believe in themselves and say, "Hey, I'm gonna do this and try this. So what if I fail? At least I tried."
Yeah.
absolutely. I appreciate everything you just said. It's super powerful and it speaks volume. So
Cool, thanks.
thank you for that.
Cool.
But yeah, the final question we have is just we have a digital marketing workshop coming up. I think everybody, watching this should go to it. Our tickets are in our bio. But Bilal, specifically as a panel speaker and a panel moderator, what are you most excited for at this year's digital marketing workshop?
Well, this program, the Center for Digital Engagement is something that's important to our community. I got to see it when it was in its infancy being launched. So to see something um, kind of prevail and survive the test of time already and like really do well. I'm really proud of all the work that Bud's put into the program and to get it to where it's at. I'm so happy to see all of this opportunities that students have gotten over the years. So for me, it's like it's just a continuation and the evolution of this workshop, right? Maybe catching up with some old students that I've met in the past by attending or speaking at one, alumni. It's just you're running into a lot of old colleagues, friends, and I think that's great. And when I talk to people about like, oh, where'd you go to school, and I say EMU, and they're like, oh yeah, I've heard of this Center for Digital Engagement. That's one of the things I think, especially on the business aspect of when we think of the College of Business, it started to like get a name out there. And so for me, I'm very proud to associate with the work that Bud and all of you and the students have done over the years. It's really, really impressive. I love how he really gives you all the opportunity to take ownership in it. And so for me, the workshop itself is a culmination of all that, right? It's bringing together people who have been a part of this program for years. It's bringing together some of the brightest individuals in the region to discuss topics that are like relevant to all of our careers and pathways, whether it's sport and entertainment or just general marketing or even just business, and you're just interested. You're going to walk away from there learning new things and feeling kind of excited about exploring maybe some new concept or opportunities. And if anybody's a lifelong student, this is a great opportunity to come and learn.
Absolutely. That's just so good. And I'm really excited to meet, everybody who's been a part of this thing as long as you have, I know they're all going to be there, and even the new people, it's all about bringing new people in as well and getting them excited for digital marketing. So yeah, that's fantastic. Um Now we're going to turn it over to the Q&A portion, and we have a couple questions from our boss, but the CDE leader, Bud Gibson. He is over on YouTube. The first question is, Bilal, what are you doing in the community? You seem to be really connected across teams and local brands. So could you just speak on that?
Yeah, it's always changing. I like to take on a lot of different projects. So, um, I'm a co-owner of a semi-pro soccer club, AFC Ann Arbor. We predominantly play in the summertime. It's a men's and women's team, so I'm somewhat involved with that. We have a youth academy that I'm a co-founder of called CLR Academy. That's in collaboration with Washington My Brother's Keeper, which is under the Obama Foundation, and there's chapters nationwide. We're just part of the Washington County chapter, but CLR Academy is a weekly free sports program. So it's 90 minutes of programming. The first 60 minutes are soccer, football, basketball, simple training, team. We're introducing concepts that, kids might not have if they don't belong to a team. So a lot of the basics of just what it means to feel and be a part of a team. And then those last 30 minutes, we hit them with something new, right? Something they may have not experienced. So we've done things like nutrition education, electronic violin player, virtual graffiti. We've brought in an author, jujitsu, an NBA player, like anything you could think of. We just want to bring things to the youth that they may have not have thought of before, so that they can open up the concept of like, wow, maybe I could do this, or I could do that. And we want to bring consistent mentors. So those are a few of my projects that I'm working on currently. I just think it's important to be a good member of society. For me, that means like trying to just impact the community in a positive way. I prefer to do that with kids. I just think they're the future. I think starting with, young folks like yourself, I feel like anything I could do to help you all or anybody below you guys in terms of age, like that's literally the best thing I can do, most rewarding thing in my life. So that's why I kind of prioritize doing some of the community work. But yeah, actually next month will be our 6th year that we're going to continue the turkey giveaway that we started with Blake Corum, who's a current LA Rams running back, former University of Michigan national champion. Shout out Blake Corum. So we'll be doing that for the 6th year next month as well. So just, very thankful to be in a position where I can do things sport related that are really have nothing to do with like, let's make people rich. It's more about how can we make a positive impact for people.
That really warms my heart to hear, because I've heard so many people say that all of us should have a purpose in life, and that purpose should really tie in with being able to benefit people, and not like how you said, not in making someone more rich, but more in a humanistic way that is helping them elevate their lives in the ways that they more so need things, and not things that they just want. And it really is nice to hear that you partner up with the Washnaw's Brother Keeper, because I know some guys in high school that were a part of that group. So it's just nice to see the
Where'd you
connection
go to high
there.
school?
I went to Skyline.
Isaac?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's one of the guys I
Man, get
know.
out of here. Isaac was at my table last night. It was our gala last night. We'll catch up on it.
So that's nice to hear that he still ties in with you guys. That's cool.
He's a special young man. And so like that's what it comes down to. If I can be involved with supporting someone like him, like yourself, that's just special, bright young individuals that are going to go places. If you can help them accelerate that process or exponentially grow what that they might have even had their dreams and goals set to before, man, I was talking about it last night. I'm like, I hope that kid hires me one day.
Yeah, he's great.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's awesome stuff. And our second question from Bud is this ties into the entrepreneurship section of what we were talking about, but what is the hardest part about running your own business?
I think it's different for different people, and it depends if you're a service-based business, product, um, B2B or B2C. Like there's so many variables, so it's difficult. But for me, the hardest part currently right now is saying no to projects, right? Like I do love trying to help people, and sometimes I want to do more than I can do. I have 2 young kids. I've got a lot of other commitments. So for me, it's about, trying to make sure that I can appropriately commit to certain projects, and then having to, like, make tough decisions sometimes and say, you know what, I want to do this, but it's just not, it doesn't make sense for me right now. Um, Again, like that to me is the hardest because it's a people interaction. And like, I don't like saying no to people because like you were just saying, like, that's what we're here for. And so like, it's a challenge for me. You can tell even when I talk about it, I struggle because like I really don't like saying no to people if I feel like I can genuinely help them in some way, and for nothing in return. Part of it is like, dude, I can help you. What? Like, well, I don't have skills that you're fine. But they're like, no, I could really use, like, if you could do this for me. I'm like, all right, let me see what I can do. And so I think that's become a little bit of a challenge. I've become a little bit better at it, but it's just always a challenge for me.
Yeah, for sure. I've never thought about that before from an entrepreneur standpoint, but it definitely, that is huge. That's what you do. So that's definitely, yeah. All right. So that concludes our digital live today. Thank you for everybody. Thank you for Bud for submitting questions. And before we wrap up, I just want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in on this Monday night. Thank you for watching our digital live.
Yes, and thank you so much, Bilal. It was so great having you as a guest and getting to know more about you and your business and just the things you do in the community. Everyone, please make sure you tune in on Friday for our next digital live. He will also be a guest at our digital marketing workshop, so we can't wait for you guys to get to know a little more about him. So, bye.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for being here.